They'll never tell you this, but I will. It's not your money. It's not your looks. It's not even your status. What actually draws younger women to older men is something much deeper, and most guys have no clue they're even doing it. Or worse, they're doing the opposite and wondering why they keep getting overlooked. You've been fed the lie that attraction fades with age. That once the wrinkles show up, the options disappear. But that's complete nonsense, and today, I'm going to show you why. This isn't about cheesy tricks or fake confidence. It's about tapping into something powerful, something that, when used right, makes you magnetic without even trying. And no, this won't be some feel-good fluff. We're getting into the psychology, the strategy, and the bold truths most men are too afraid to admit. So if you've ever felt ignored, invisible, or like you're somehow past your prime, stop right there. Because this video might just flip everything you thought you knew about attraction. Stick around. What you're about to learn isn't just surprising, it's controversial, it's practical, and it works. By the end of this video, you won't just understand what attracts younger women. You'll know exactly how to use it, with power, confidence, and control. Let's get into it. 1. The silver power effect. Let me tell you something most men over 40 never realize. It's not their age that's pushing younger women away. It's the fact that they're trying to hide it. Yes, the very thing you're trying to cover up might be your most powerful asset. Now I know what you might be thinking. Wait, my gray hair, laugh lines, and dad posture are attractive. Yes. And not just attractive. Irresistible. If, and that's a big if, you know how to own it. Welcome to what I call the silver power effect. And once you understand it, you'll never compete with younger guys again, because you won't need to. You know the type. That one older guy who walks into a room, nothing flashy, not even trying, and yet somehow, everyone notices him. He's not loud. He's not trying to look 25. But women, especially younger ones, glance, then glance again. And you're like, what the hell is he doing that I'm not? We've all seen it. And maybe we've all tried to be that guy, but in all the wrong ways. Botox, hair dye, chasing trends, using slang that should have retired in high school. Let me be real with you, trying to act young makes you look older and more desperate. It's like watching someone wear a leather jacket that's screaming, "I'm still cool, right?" Cringe. Here's the twist. It's not your youth that attracts, it's your command over your age. You don't need to be young. You need to be seasoned. Polished. Grounded. You need to make her feel something no boy her age can: security, mystery, and masculine calm. That's the silver power effect. And it starts with stopping the performance. Start dressing like a man who has nothing to prove but everything to offer. Wear that gray hair like a crown, not a curse. Speak slower. Move with calm, not rush. Let her curiosity build, not from how much you say, but how much you withhold. You're not selling yourself. You're letting her wonder about you. Because the most attractive man in the room is the one not trying to be. Let me share this moment with you. I was once at a friend's birthday dinner. Fancy restaurant, dim lights, jazz in the background, you get the picture. Sitting across from me, a guy in his late 50s. Silver hair, fitted blazer, not a single flashy item on him. Next to him, a woman who couldn't have been older than 28. She was laughing, leaning in, completely captivated. Now, I'm curious. So later, I chat him up. I ask, "What's your secret?" He smirks, sips his whiskey, and says, "I stopped trying to impress, and started enjoying myself." That hit me hard. Because it wasn't about tactics. It was about vibe. About being so comfortable in your skin that you radiate confidence without speaking a word. This is about more than attraction. It's about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your presence. You've earned every wrinkle, every lesson, every quiet strength. Don't dim it, wield it. Because women can feel it, when a man has depth, when he's walked through storms and came out calm. Stop apologizing for your age. Stop chasing what you already surpassed. And start carrying yourself like a man who's seen enough to know what really matters. You don't need to be the loudest guy in the room. You just need to be the one who knows exactly who he is. So the next time you look in the mirror and see gray, Don't cover it, cultivate it. Don't chase attention, command it. And don't wish you were younger, show them why being older is the real upgrade. This is the silver power effect. Your age isn't a disadvantage, it's your edge. Own it. Live it. Let her feel it. 2. Become her intellectual fantasy. Most guys think attraction is all about looks, money, or having a six-pack. But here's the truth, if you can stimulate her mind, you'll stay in her thoughts long after the pretty boys are forgotten. Yes, I'm serious. In a world where surface-level conversations dominate, being the man who makes her think, that's rare. That's powerful, asterisk asterisk. Now you might be thinking, come on, women just want fun, confidence, and maybe someone who can dance a little. Sure, that might work for a night. But if you want to stand out and stay on her mind, you've got to become her intellectual fantasy. You know the type. You're at a dinner party, and there's that one guy who isn't the loudest, isn't trying too hard, but the moment he speaks, the room tilts in his direction. He talks about ancient philosophy, not because it's flashy, but because it means something to him. He knows the art of asking the right questions. He challenges ideas without being arrogant. And you notice, she leans in. Her eyes light up. Because he's not trying to win her. He's inviting her to explore a world she hasn't seen yet. We've all been in those dull conversations, right? Small talk, recycled jokes, bragging about money or gym routines, it's like watching the same movie on repeat. But then there's that one guy who casually drops a line like, "Did you know Aristotle believed true happiness comes from fulfilling your potential, not chasing pleasure?" And suddenly, asterisk boom, asterisk. It's a different energy. She starts asking questions. She wants to hear more. That's what we're talking about. Now, don't get it twisted, this isn't about sounding like a walking encyclopedia. You don't need a PhD or memorized quotes from Greek tragedies. What you need is curiosity, depth, and a sense of purpose behind your thoughts, asterisk asterisk. Read more. Not to impress, but to express. Explore philosophy, psychology, even literature, anything that gives your words more weight. Because once you start speaking with real substance, your presence becomes addictive. It's not about showing off, it's about showing that you're different. Let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was at a cafe, typing away on my laptop. Next to me was a couple, younger woman, clearly impressed by the older man she was with. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I couldn't help overhearing snippets. They weren't talking about TikTok trends or Netflix shows. He was telling her about how Marcus Aurelius journaled daily to train his mind against chaos. And the way she looked at him. Total awe. Not because he was flashy, but because he was fascinating. She wasn't listening to a man, she was entering a world. And that's the power you have, right now. You can build that world. You can become a man of substance, depth, and calm intelligence. You don't need tricks or pickup lines. You just need to stop hiding behind surface-level nonsense and start showing up as someone who actually thinks, reflects, and learns. This isn't about outsmarting anyone. It's about making her feel something she rarely feels in a shallow, swipe-right culture, asterisk asterisk genuine intrigue, asterisk asterisk. This is about reclaiming your space, your intellect, and your identity as a man who leads with his mind. So no, you don't need to fake youth. You need to cultivate wisdom. You don't need to chase her with compliments. You need to invite her curiosity. Because when you become the kind of man who can say something that lingers in her mind for days, you don't chase fantasies. You become one, asterisk asterisk. So read. Reflect. Grow. Not for her, but for you. Because a man who feeds his mind, eventually feeds her imagination. And trust me, asterisk asterisk that's unforgettable, asterisk asterisk. 3. The slow seduction rule. Here's something that might surprise you. Going slow is the fastest way to attraction. I know, that probably goes against everything we've been told, right? We're living in a world that screams, act fast, text back instantly, make your move before someone else does. But when it comes to truly standing out, especially as a man of maturity and presence, speed kills attraction. Yes, trust me on this, if you want to be unforgettable, you need to master the art of moving slower. We've all been there. You meet someone, there's a spark, and boom, you're all in. Texting constantly, complimenting too much, giving everything away too soon. You feel like you're building something real, but then she pulls back, gets distant, starts saying things like, "You're great, I just don't feel that thing." And you're left thinking, what happened? What did I do wrong? Here's what most men don't realize: mystery creates desire. And when you rush, emotionally, verbally, physically, you rob her of the most essential part of seduction: the space to imagine. When you move slowly, you give her that space. You let the anticipation build. You become the guy who's different. And in a world of men throwing themselves at her feet, that difference becomes magnetic. Now, I know this might sound a little passive-aggressive, like, just don't text her back for a few hours and she'll fall in love. No, it's not about playing games. It's about owning your pace. It's about being so grounded, so comfortable in your energy, that you don't feel the need to rush anything. Your attention becomes rare. Your words feel deliberate. Your presence starts to feel valuable. Let me give you a real story. I once met someone through a friend, smart, sharp, beautiful. We hit it off immediately. But instead of doing what I used to, flooding her with compliments, jumping at every chance to hang out, I did something different. I slowed everything down. When we talked, I listened more than I spoke. I didn't rush to fill silences. I let them breathe. And when we made plans, I didn't drop everything to be available. I had my schedule, my priorities, my life. And guess what? She started leaning in. Literally. Asking more. Wondering more. Not because I was withholding, but because I was grounded. I wasn't chasing. I was inviting. That's what the slow seduction rule is all about. Being so intentional with your energy that she's drawn to the gravity of your presence. This isn't about manipulation. This is about reclaiming your power. Because when you move slower, you see things more clearly. You stop overinvesting too soon. You avoid getting emotionally entangled with someone who hasn't earned it yet. You give yourself, and her, the gift of patience. And in that space, real connection can grow. This is about your peace, your standards, your self-respect. It's about resisting that urge to perform, to prove, to over-explain yourself. It's about being calm in your masculinity, because that calm is what makes her feel safe and drawn in. So the next time you meet someone and feel that spark, don't rush to ignite the fire. Let it simmer. Let it build. Let it breathe. Because the man who can take his time, who doesn't rush the kiss, the text, or the moment, that man becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. That's the slow seduction rule. And it doesn't just attract, it elevates. Your space. Your presence. Your value. Let the world rush. You. Stay slow, steady, and unforgettable. 4. Status isn't money, it's control. Here's the truth most people never tell you. Status has very little to do with money. I know, wild, right? In a world that worships flashy watches, rented Lambos, and designer everything, that probably sounds backwards. But hear me out, real status, the kind that draws people in, especially women, comes from control. Control over your emotions. Control over your time. Control over your choices. That's the kind of power no bank account can buy. Now you might be thinking, but isn't financial success a part of status? Sure, it plays a role, but it's not the core. Because we've all seen guys with money who still come off insecure, loud, desperate to prove something. You know the type, everything they do screams, "Look at me." But somehow, they're still not respected. Still not taken seriously. Why? Because deep down, everyone can feel it, they're not in control. They're controlled by their image, their ego, their constant need for validation. We've all been there at some point. Trying to impress people with what we have, hoping they'll treat us differently. Maybe you've dropped a line about your job title, or exaggerated your plans just a little in conversation. It's not because you're fake, it's because you want to be seen. And control. That's ownership. When you walk into a room and don't need to prove yourself. When you can stay calm when others get emotional. When you can say no without guilt. When you can walk away from something that doesn't serve you. That's real status. Because most people can't do that. Most people are slaves to impulse, emotion, and insecurity. Let me tell you about a guy I used to work with, David. Didn't have the flashiest clothes. Drove a used car. Always wore the same black polo to the office. But when he spoke, everyone listened. When he entered a room, he didn't chase attention, it found him. Why? Because David didn't need to prove anything. He was emotionally composed, made decisions slowly, and had this quiet authority about him. Even our boss, who made 10 times his salary, would defer to him in meetings. And the funny part? David never talked about money. But he always had time for what mattered. His schedule wasn't packed with fluff. He wasn't addicted to the grind or burnt out trying to out-earn anyone. He was in control of himself, his time, his values. And that made him magnetic. This is what I want you to understand. Status isn't about impressing anyone, it's about being unshakable. It's about walking through life without constantly adjusting yourself for approval. And once you reclaim that control, everything shifts. People respect you more. They listen more closely. And yes, women notice it instantly. Because confidence backed by control feels safe, powerful, and real. This isn't about acting cold or untouchable. It's about finally saying, I don't need to perform. I don't need to beg. I don't need to prove. Because I know who I am. I choose where my energy goes. And I don't trade that for attention, So if you've ever felt like you're falling behind because you don't have that car, that salary, that apartment with the view, pause. Breathe. And ask yourself. Do I have control over my life? Because when you do, you become the men people follow, respect, and remember, That's real status. Not what you wear, not what you drive. But how you walk, how you speak, and what you choose to walk away from. Own your space. Protect your peace. Respect your time. Because control isn't loud, it's powerful. And the man who has it, he doesn't chase respect. He naturally commands it. 5. Be unavailable emotionally, at first. Here's something you probably don't hear often. Being emotionally unavailable, at least in the beginning, might be the smartest move you ever make, Now before you roll your eyes and think, wait, isn't that toxic behavior? Let me stop you right there. I'm not saying go cold, detached, or play mind games. But there's a reason why not wearing your heart on your sleeve too early can change how people perceive and respect you. Yes, trust me on this, emotional restraint is underrated and powerful. We've all been there, right? You meet someone, you click, and suddenly you're spilling your life story like it's a therapy session on speed. You're opening up about your past, your trauma, your goals, your deepest fears, and you barely know this person. You tell yourself, I'm just being real. I'm just showing I care. But later, things feel off. They stop texting as much. They start pulling away. And you're left confused, wondering, what went wrong? I thought we had something deep, Here's the thing most people never talk about. Early emotional availability often comes off as emotional neediness. When you give too much of yourself too soon, it doesn't feel strong, it feels uncertain. Not because vulnerability is bad, but because it hasn't been earned yet. Think about it. How do you value something that's given freely to everyone, without effort or trust? You don't. It's just there. But when something takes time, when it's revealed slowly, with intention, that's what this is about. This is about reclaiming your peace, your privacy, and your pace. It's about not auditioning for love or validation by over-explaining your emotions right out the gate. It's about showing that your inner world is earned, not handed out like candy. So if you ever feel that urge to just be real and pour it all out, pause. Breathe. And ask yourself, does this person deserve this part of me yet? Because when you wait, when you give emotionally with wisdom instead of impulse, something powerful happens. You stop chasing connection, and you start attracting respect. Respect for your boundaries. Respect for your pace. And most importantly, respect for your emotional value. So be warm, but guarded. Be kind, but composed. Be present, but not poured out. Because when you protect your heart early, you're not being distant. You're being dignified, asterisk asterisk. And that's how you become unforgettable. 6. Purpose over pursuit. Here's something most people get completely backward. If you keep chasing her, you'll never get her. But if you chase purpose, that's when everything starts to align, yes, even attraction. Now I know, that might sound like one of those cliché Instagram quotes. But hear me out, because this goes way deeper than just sounding cool or motivational. There's a psychological truth to it. When your life is led by pursuit, you're always reacting. But when it's led by purpose, you're directing. And that shift in energy, is what changes everything. We've all been in that place where we're focused on trying to win someone over. Sending the perfect text. Planning the next hangout. Making yourself as likable, available, and accommodating as possible. And what happens? The more you pursue, the more distant they become. You start overthinking. You get anxious. They sense it, they pull away. And you're left wondering, what else could I have done? Here's the uncomfortable truth, pursuit without purpose always looks like desperation. But when you're grounded in your purpose, your mission, your values, your direction, you stop chasing anything. And paradoxically, that's when people start chasing you. The strategy here is simple, but not easy. Shift your attention away from pursuit and into purpose. Build your body. Grow your mind. Develop your craft. Wake up with intention, not to impress, but to improve. You don't need to text first. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Because your life, as it is, already carries weight. People can feel when you're a man on a mission. There's a quiet confidence to it. A calm self-respect. And women. They sense that from across the room. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was talking to a friend who couldn't understand why his last few relationships kept falling apart. He was good-looking, successful, generous, by all standards, he checked every box. But every time he got close to someone, he started revolving his whole world around them. He stopped going to the gym. He delayed his business projects. He adjusted his schedule, his interests, even his opinions, just to keep her happy. And guess what? It didn't make her stay. It made her lose respect. Because when he gave up his purpose, he lost what made him attractive in the first place. So I told him something I learned the hard way. A woman doesn't want to be your purpose. She wants to join a man who already has one. This isn't about being cold or emotionally unavailable. It's about having direction. And when you lock into that, when your life is led by clarity instead of craving, you stop trying to be chosen. Because deep down, you've already chosen yourself. And that energy, it's unshakable. It's attractive. It's rare. This is about reclaiming your focus. Your drive. Your center. It's about stepping out of this mindset where you think, getting the girl, is the goal, when in reality, the goal is becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to chase anything. Because he's too busy building something real. So the next time you feel that pull to drop everything and pursue someone, pause. Ask yourself, is this pursuit strengthening my purpose or stealing from it? Because if it's the second one, you already know what to do. Choose purpose over pursuit. Choose growth over grasping. Choose vision over validation. Because your purpose is what builds your kingdom. And the right person, they'll want to be a part of it. Not because you chased them, but because you didn't need to. Thanks so much for watching. I truly hope this video gave you a new perspective and some real, practical insight you can use. If it sparked something in you or made you rethink how you carry yourself, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps this message reach more people. And if you're into conversations like this, about attraction, psychology, and becoming the kind of man who leads with purpose and confidence, subscribe to the channel. I've got much more coming your way. Know someone who might need to hear this. Share this video with them. Sometimes, one honest truth is all it takes to shift everything. And now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below, what's been your experience with attraction as you've gotten older? What's worked? What hasn't? Let's start a real conversation, because trust me, you're not the only one navigating this. Remember, ***, you're not past your prime. You're just getting started, ***. When you lead with calm, grounded confidence, you don't chase. You attract. Until next time, stay sharp, stay intentional, and never forget your value. See you in the next one.